Silence. Om Shanti. Good morning, students. In the last class, we discussed about the Rutherford's model of atom, and we studied how Rutherford couldn't explain the stability of the atom. Before that, we discussed about the electrons, protons, neutrons. We discovered how the nucleus was discovered by Rutherford in his alpha scattering experiment, where he used the doubly charged helium particle called alpha particle to discover the nucleus. And we found that the atom is a whole, the atom is a particle where most of the space are empty. Most of the space of the atom are empty. Only a small but a heavy positive charge situated at the center called the nucleus. The mass of the atom is resides inside the nucleus, and the electrons are revolving around the nucleus in circular orbits like the planets revolving around the sun. But this concept of Rutherford was objected by the Maxwell. So Maxwell said that whenever the electric charge is subject to acceleration, it will emit energy, and as in Rutherford's world, the electrons are revolving around the nucleus in circular path, so electrons are continuously losing energy, okay, and this happens, then the electrons will lose all of its energy, and it becomes spiral. Electrons is falling upon the nucleus, and the atom is going to collapse. But actually this case is not happening, and that means the atom now becomes unstable as per the Rutherford's model of atom. Now, to overcome this difficulties and how to explain the stability of the atom, so now we have to go to study about the electromagnetic radiation. So we will discuss what is electromagnetic radiation, how the energy is being radiated or absorbed, and about the Planck's quantum theory of radiation, where we will see that actually the energy, how much energy will be radiated or absorbed, that we will discuss according to Planck's quantum theory. Then after we will come to a conclusion that and we will give some suggestions about the stability of the atom. Okay, that will be given by your board. Okay, so let us discuss about your electromagnetic radiation. Electromagnetic radiation. So what is an electromagnetic radiation? Okay, before that, let us have some idea about your wave. You already know about this wave. Okay, see. This is the wave, goes like this. Okay. Now, what is a wave? A wave is a sort of disturbance produced in a vibrating body. Okay. Now see, and the wave travels like this. See, this is what? This is called as a crest, it's called as a drop. Okay, and see, these are the two consecutive crests, and this distance is called what you do? Wavelength lambda. Okay, so this is called what the crest, this is called the top. Okay, and the linear distance between two consecutive crests or top is called what, wavelength lambda, and this is the maximum distance dispersed by the wave called what, amplitude A, okay, and the number of waves passing through a point at a given second, given time is called what, frequency nu, okay, and we have the velocity of the wave given by c equal what, lambda into nu. C equal what, lambda into nu. Therefore, nu equal to c by lambda और lambda equal what, c by nu. Also we have wave number nu bar is equal to 1 by lambda, okay. Also we have energy E equal to h nu, E equal what, h nu, and h is what, Planck's constant. H is what, Planck's constant, right. So this is about a characteristic of a wave. A wave is a sort of disturbance produced in a vibrating body, and this travels through a medium, and this is called what, the crest, this is called your top. The linear distance between any two consecutive crest or top is called what, wavelength lambda, and this lambda is measured in what, in meter, nanometer, angstrom, okay, centimeter, etc. Okay, wavelength lambda can be measured in meter or nanometer or angstrom, centimeter, okay. Now frequency nu is measured in what, in hertz or kilohertz, and also simply per second, per time, okay. Now c is what, the velocity meter per second, h is what, Planck's constant, and E the energy in joule, okay. Now see, what is an electromagnetic radiation? Any source of high alternating current is capable of producing radiation. Any source of high alternating current is capable of producing radiation, okay, and these radiations are traveling through space called what, electromagnetic radiation or electromagnetic wave, which is consisting of what, both electric and magnetic fields which are perpendicular to each other, mutually perpendicular to each other, okay. So electromagnetic radiation or electromagnetic waves are the radiations which consisting of what, both electric and magnetic field, okay, and they looks like this, right. Okay, so we have an electric field and we have a magnetic field, okay. Electric field, magnetic field, okay. So the radiations consisting of both electric and magnetic field which are mutually perpendicular to each other, okay, are known as electromagnetic radiations or electromagnetic waves. Okay, and this electro and the energy radiated in this electromagnetic waves or radiation is called radiant energy. Okay, these electromagnetic radiations you can take the example. Suppose I can take the example of radio waves, cosmic rays, X-rays, gamma rays, microwaves, all are the electromagnetic radiations. Light is also electromagnetic radiation. Okay, so whatever kind of mobile communication, whatever kind of rays we are, the basically microwaves we are using, so they are your electromagnetic radiations. Also the X-rays, the radio waves, okay, gamma rays, cosmic rays, ultraviolet rays, all visible rays, all are the electromagnetic radiations. And these electromagnetic radiations not require any medium for their propagation. They can travel without a medium. Okay, the radio waves can travel through space. The light coming from the sun, okay, is through the space. So without a medium also this electromagnetic radiation can pass through. And the important thing here, all the electromagnetic radiations are having the same velocity equal to that of light. They differ only in frequency or the wavelength. If I compare X-ray, gamma ray, ultraviolet ray, radio waves, cosmic rays, all the rays are having the same velocity. They differ only in frequency, wavelength, and hence your energy. Because we know the C equal to lambda nu, okay, and so nu equal to what? C by lambda. So if I take two waves, two electromagnetic waves, both are having the C is constant, so they will differ with the frequency and wavelength. Between two electromagnetic waves, if suppose one is having low frequency, then this means that will have the high wavelength. Other is having low wavelength, means high frequency, means high energy. Okay, so lower the frequency, low the energy, high the wavelength. Higher the frequency, higher the energy, and lower the wavelength. Okay, because we know the E equal what? H nu. Okay, and nu equal what? Nu equal what? C by lambda. So if lambda is less, then nu will be high, and nu will be high means E will be high. Okay, so these are the electromagnetic waves or electromagnetic radiations. Now regarding this electromagnetic radiations or electromagnetic waves, now Max Planck gave a theory called Planck's quantum theory of radiation. Okay, so Planck's quantum theory of radiation, now I will explain you how a body can emit or absorb energy. Let us see. Planck's quantum theory of radiation. Planck's quantum theory of radiation. So what says this Planck's quantum theory of radiation? According to Max Planck, radiant energy is not emitted or absorbed continuously, but discontinuously in small packets of energy known as quanta or photon. Okay, and each quanta is associated with a definite amount of energy, which is an integral multiple of h nu. Okay, so what is Planck? What said Planck? Radiant energy is not emitted or absorbed continuously, but discontinuously in small packets of energy known as a quanta or photon. Okay, so a body can lose energy or can absorb energy only discontinuously, cannot give continuously. Okay, each quanta is associated with a definite amount of energy, which is an integral multiple of 4 and integral multiple of 4 h nu, that is what E equal to h nu, whatever E equal to h nu. So this you can understand, we can explain with the help of a simple example. Let's see, suppose I strike a matchstick. So when I strike a matchstick with the matchbox, okay, now this will glow. After some time it will stop. So when you strike the matchstick, it starts to glow. That means it is giving radiation, giving energy. Okay, it is giving the flame, that is energy, but not continuously. It is radiating energy. After some time, it stops. Similarly, the earth is radiating the energy, not continuously, discontinuously. So every object is losing energy, also absorbing energy, not continuously, discontinuously by small packet of energy. Okay, and this packet of energy are what h nu equal to n h nu, where n is what equal what n h nu, where n is what integer and h is what where n equal what 1 2 3. Okay, h is what Planck's constant. Okay, now see, when the body is losing energy h nu, that is always what an integral multiple of the h nu. That means see, the electron cannot lose any amount of energy. Cannot lose any amount of energy, and also the electron cannot lose energy continuously. Only small amount of energy discontinuously it will lose. That's why the electron is not falling upon the nucleus, and this concept is well explained by the Bohr in his Bohr's modular pattern. Here the energy is called quantization of energy equal to n h nu. This h nu is quantized, means what certain amount of energy. Quantization of energy means what? Only a certain amount of energy. When the electron is going to lose any amount of energy, there is a possibility of falling upon the electron on the nucleus. But as per Planck's, a body cannot lose energy continuously, and only a discrete quanta will lose. So now the electron will lose the energy discontinuously, and also not any amount. This leads to the conclusion of the quantization of energy, and taking this concept of quantization, Bohr explained now the stability of the atom. So how Bohr explained the stability of the atom? With the help of the Planck's quantum theory, that is with the help of the quantization of energy, that we will discuss in the next class. Okay. So before that, today we will have some numerical basing on this frequency, lambda, energy, that is the calculation on this wave characteristics, and also we will discuss some other important topics like the isotopes, isobars, atomic number, mass number, etc. Now the first have some numericals basing on this wave concept. Okay. Then after we will go for that. In the next class, that we will go for what? How this Bohr, how could explain this concept of quantization. Okay. So these are these numericals now which are going to discuss basing on the electromagnetic radiations, the wave characteristics. See, these are the data that we already discussed. Okay. So how to express the characteristic of the wave? C equal lambda nu. See the velocity of light 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. Okay. And nu the frequency of the wave, lambda is the wavelength. Okay. Lambda wavelength can be measured in nanometer or meter or angstrom. 1 nanometer equal to 10 to minus 9 meter. You already know this. 1 angstrom 10 to minus 10 meter. Okay, these things also is known to you. And frequency can be measured in your hertz or kilohertz or second inverse. And we know 1 kilohertz is equal to 10 to the power 3 hertz, because kilo equal to 10 to the power 3. And also, so C equal lambda nu, therefore nu equals C by lambda, or lambda equals C by nu, we can use. And also we can use E equal H nu, but nu equals C by lambda, so SC by lambda. And again 1 by lambda equal to nu bar, called wave number is the nu bar 1 by lambda. So E equal to H nu equal to SC by lambda equal to H nu bar, also you can write. Okay. And H is your Planck's constant, whose value you can find in your 6.6 to 10 to the minus 34 joule second, or H equal to 6.6 to 10 to the minus 34 kilogram meter square per second. Okay. So these values we will put whenever it is required. And also one another unit of energy, your electron volt, 1 electron volt is equal to 1.602 10 to the minus 19 joule. So these values as and when required we can put for the sake of convenience, easiness, we have written here. Okay. Now let us see how to solve this in numericals. First of all, see the Vivid Bharati station, that means radio station, okay, All India Radio, broadcast on a frequency of 1368 kilohertz. So first of all, whenever we are going to solve the numerical, first write data is given. So you see the frequency is given, frequency nu equal to what, 1368 kilohertz is equal to what, 1368 into 10 to the 3 okay, equal to 1368 into 3 hertz. Okay. Now calculate the wavelength of electromagnetic radiation emitted by the transmitter. So we will calculate what the wavelength lambda, and we know for any kind of electromagnetic wave the velocity is constant, c equal to 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. Okay. Now you can put here We know C equal what? C equal to lambda into nu. This implies C lambda equal what? C by nu equal what? C what? 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second divided by how much nu given here? Okay, 1368 into 10 power of 3 hertz or second also you can say. Equal what? Hertz or second inverse. Okay. So C equal to lambda nu, so lambda equal to C by nu. So C is what? 3 into 8 meter per second. Now nu what? This was value given 1368 second inverse. So this cancel out, and this on solving will get what? 219.3 meter. So the wavelength of the transmitter is what? 21.93 meter. Okay. Similarly, this is number 1. Now number 2. What is number 2 here? A sodium street light gives off yellow light that has a wavelength of 589 nanometer. Okay. So what do we write here? The question number 2. Wavelength lambda equal what? 589 nanometer equal what? 589 into 10 power of -9 meter. Okay, right? Now, what is the frequency of this light? Just reverse equation. We know C equal to lambda into nu. Therefore, what? Nu is equal to C by lambda. What is C given here? 3 into 10 power of 8 meter per second divided by what? Lambda, how much here? 589 into 10 power minus 9 meter. Equal what? Meter cancel out. Okay. Now 3 into 8 by 589 into 10 minus 9 will get what? The answer 5.093 into 10 power what? 14. Okay. So this is the frequency of the sodium street light. Okay. Question number 3. Calculate the wavelength of a photon having energy of 1 electron volt. Okay. So what is given here? Energy E is equal to what? 1 electron volt. And we know 1 electron volt equal to what? Equal to what? 1.602 into 10 power minus 19 joule, or I can add what? 1.602 into 10 minus 19 kilogram meter square per second square. Okay. Now calculate the wavelength. So we know what? We have E equal what to h nu is equal to what? Hc by lambda. Okay. So E equal what to hc by lambda. So this implies lambda equal what to hc by E. Okay. We have to calculate the wavelength here. So lambda equal to hc by E. Now what is h here? 6.62 into 10 power of minus 34 joule second. Okay. Into C 3 into 10 power of 8 meter per second divided by E equal to what? 1.602 602 into 10 power minus 19 joule. Okay, so joule cancel here, and second into second also cancel here. Okay, so equal to what? 6.62 into 10 minus 34 into 3 into 10 power 8 divided by 1.602 into 10 minus 19 meter, or this equal I will get what? 12.42 into 10 power minus 7 meter. So on solving, we will get this value 12.42 into 10 power minus 7 meter. Okay. Similarly, question number 4. So, what is question number 4 here? Calculate the ratio of wavelength corresponds to the frequency nu 1 equal to this much and nu 2 equal to. So, what is given here? Number 4. Nu 1 equal to how much? 7.35 into 10 power minus 14 second inverse, and nu 2 is equal to 4.47 into 10 power 14 second inverse. Okay. Now see here, if I write C equal to what? Lambda nu. So calculate the ratio of wavelength correspond to this one. So C equal lambda nu. So if I write lambda 1 nu 1. Okay. And again your C equal what? Lambda 2 nu 2. Because the velocity of the electron vibrations are same, so because in both cases C, so lambda 1 nu 1 equal to what? Lambda 2 nu 2. So lambda 1 nu 1 equal to what? Lambda 2 nu 2. So whatever may be the wavelength or frequency, the velocities are always same for any kind of electromagnetic radiations. Okay. So what we write? Lambda 1 nu 1 equal to lambda 2 nu 2. Therefore, lambda 1 by lambda 2 equal to what? Nu 2 by nu 1. Okay. This equal to what? Nu 2 is 4.47 and minus 10 to 14 divided by 7.35 into minus 14. And this is in both the case. Okay. 10 to 14 is also. Okay. So we get what? 0.61. So 0.61 is the ratio between the wavelength correspond to the frequency this and this. Okay. So nu 1 by lambda 1 by lambda 2 equal to nu 2 by nu 1. Okay. So next is your number 5. Then your question number 5. Calculate the wave number and frequency of yellow radiation having a wavelength of this much. See here, question number 5. Wavelength lambda equal to how much given? 5800 angstrom. Okay, is equal to what? I can write 5800 into 10 power minus 10 meter. Okay. Now calculate the wave number and frequency. First of all, frequency nu is equal to what euro c by lambda equal to what euro 3 into 10 power of 8 meter per second divided by what euro 5800 into minus 10 meter. Okay, we get what euro the frequency will get what euro 5.172 into 10 power of what 14 second inverse. Okay, now wave number nu bar equal what 1 by lambda. Okay, so lambda given here, so 1 by 5800 into 10 power minus 10 meter equal what we get what 1.724 into 10 power of 60 meter inverse. Okay, so in the these are the different numericals based on the what the wave characteristics, wavelength, frequency, energy and velocity. Okay, now next we will discuss about this atomic number, mass number, isotope, isobar, isotone. Okay, let's see. Already about the atomic number and mass number already we have discussed in the first chapter, that is the basic concept chapter. Okay, still we will just a review of this concept, right? So what is your atomic number? Atomic number is the number of protons present inside the nucleus of an atom, right? Atomic number is the number of protons present inside the nucleus of an atom. Okay, and the mass number is what is the number of protons and neutrons present inside the nucleus of an atom. Okay, sometimes also we can compare this atomic number with the number of electrons if we are having the atom is neutral. Okay, so what you can say, atomic number is the number of proton present inside the nucleus, or the number of electron present outside the nucleus of a neutral atom. Okay, and the mass number is what is the total number of proton and neutron present inside the nucleus of an atom. Okay, so if I write atomic number is what your number of proton present inside the nucleus. What your atom repeated by your Z. Okay, Z equal what your number of protons P. Okay, or also I can write your Z equal to number of electrons in neutral atom, okay. Now mass number called A. Mass number A equal what number of proton plus number of neutron. Okay, so A equal what P plus N, but N is what number of neutron. Now I can write A equal to P means what P equal what Z, so Z plus N. Okay, it simplifies. I can write what N equal to A minus Z. So number of neutron equal to what mass number minus your atomic number, that also we can depend here. So we can find out the number of proton, electron, neutron present inside a particular atom by using this formula N equal to A minus Z. Okay, and whenever we are having a charged particles, okay, for example positive charge, that means what, the atom have lost the electron, okay. So loss of electron means what, positive charge, and gain of electron is what, negative charge. So when we have the charged particles, plus positive or negative particles, then we will have less or more number of electron. For example, if I take sodium, sodium is having what, order number 11, so it is having 11 proton and 11 electron. But when I have Na plus is having what, proton remains same 11, but the electron becomes 10, okay. So let us see the question. Find out the number of electron, proton and neutron, okay, present in the following, okay. So I have here carbon 6, 12. You see here, this 6 is called what, the atomic number, 12 called what, mass number. So while we representing, if x is an atom, okay, x is an atom, okay, you can write the atomic number here Z and mass number here. So this is what, this is the your atom, this is what is the atomic number, this is what your mass number. So to represent an atom, a certain number written here in the below, mass number is the above. So here 6 is the atomic number and 12 is the mass number, okay. See, find out the number of electron, proton and neutron present in the following. See 6, 12. So if I have carbon 6, 12, then here what, Z equal to 6, A equal to 12. Okay. So we have Z equal to P equal to E equal to what, 6. Odd number equal to number of proton equal to what, number of electron, because the atom is neutral, is equal to what, 6. Now mass number A equal to what, 12 given here, so I can find out the number of electron N equal to A minus Z equal to what, A 12 minus 6 equal to what, 6, right. Similarly oxygen 8, 16, same thing, Z equal to E equal to P equal to 8, okay, and N equal to A minus Z equal to what, 16 minus 8 is equal to 8, okay. Similarly sodium 1123, sodium 1123, here what, Z equal to P equal to E equal to 11 and N equal to A minus Z equal to what, 23 minus 11 equal to what, 12. Magnesium 12, 24, Z equal to E, Z is equal to P equal to E equal to 12 and N equal to what, A minus Z equal to what, 24 minus 12 is equal to, okay. So this is a way how to find out the number of electrons, protons and neutrons in a given species, okay. Now we can write another question. Find out the number of electron and proton in the following. Mg2 plus, Cl minus, O2 minus, Na plus, Na plus. Okay. So how can you find out the number of electron, proton here? See, we know Z equal to P equal to E when the atom is neutral. Here the atoms are not neutral, so only Z equal to P equal to what? You know magnesium what? 12, 17, 8, 11. Okay. So magnesium 12, Z equal to P equal to what? 12. Now electron, here you see Mg2 plus, that means see magnesium Mg minus 2 electron what you know Mg2 plus. Okay. So a electron is equal to what you know 12 minus 2 equal to what 10. Similarly Cl minus what you know Z equal to P equal to what 17. Now E is equal to 17. Here you see Cl plus electron Cl minus. So E is equal to 17 plus 1 equal to what 8 electron. Okay. So number of electrons is what 8 in here. Similarly O2 minus here we have Z equal to P equal to what 8. Now O plus 2 electron what O2 minus. Okay. Therefore E equal to what 8 plus 2 equal to what 10. Na plus 11 here. So Z equal to P equal to 11. Na minus 1 what equal to Na plus. Therefore E equal to 11 minus 1 equal to what 10. Okay. So in this way we can find out the number of electron and protons. Clear? Now next we will discuss your isotope, isobar and isotones. Okay. What are isotopes? It's already known to you, isotopes and isobars. Okay. Isotopes are what? Isotopes are the elements of are the atoms of the same element having same in atomic number but different in mass number. Okay. For example, what you have? Carbon 6, 12, 6, 14. So isotopes are the atoms of same element having same in atomic number but different in what? Mass number. Okay. So carbon 612 and carbon 614 are the isotopes of each other. So here you can, if you compare, this is your Z, and we know Z equal to P equal to E. So number of proton and number of electrons are same here. Okay, the atomic numbers are same. Okay, with mass numbers are different, and we know A equal to what you know P plus N. In both the two cases, we have same number of P. So the difference must be by the number of neutron. Okay. Now what are isobars? So isobars are the atoms of different elements having different atomic number but same in mass number. Okay. So I what you know? Argon 1840 and calcium 2040. Okay. So you will see the odd numbers are different 18 and 20. Let me see number of proton and electrons are different. Okay, but what you see, the mass numbers are same. That is what your number of neutron and proton are same. Okay. So isobars of the atoms of different elements. See here is the argon, is your calcium. Okay, that's why they are having different in number of proton. Okay. Now isotone. So what are isotone? Isotones are the atoms of different elements. Okay, having mass number different and also hot number different, but same number of neutron. For example, if I write arsenic 3377 and your selenium 3478. You see, these are the atoms of different elements, different atom number, different mass number. But you see here, your n is equal to a minus z, equal to how much here? 77 and 33. Okay. Here also your n equal to a minus z equal to what? 78 minus 34 equal to 44. So 44 is the number of neutron in both cases, that is your number of neutron is same. So those spaces where the number of neutrons are same but are having different number, different mass number are called isotones. Okay. So this is all about the isobar, isotone and isotope. Now in the next class where we will discuss about regarding again the stability of the atom, how Bohr would explain the stability of the atom. Okay. Thank you.